Hello students. Starting our series of videos to take you through the projects in order. Okay, our first project is a simple plaque where you will have the option of laser engraving your artwork, burning it in. Okay, it could be a picture or graphics that you get from Google image, whatever, as long as it's school appropriate. We can laser and burn your graphics in. Or another option is CNC routering. If we router your graphics in, we also have the ability to add epoxy colors. Okay, that epoxy, we pour it in there and it becomes rock hard. I'll show you that process. Then we take the tape off and we can sand it smooth and end up what looks like colored inlays into your plaque. These plaques that you're going to be doing are 10 by 10. Okay, so I want to show you that process. That's the first project, is a plaque. Second project is a cutting board, okay, where one side has the drip groove and the other side has the artwork of your choosing. Okay, and then it could be lasered in, or it could be routered in and then epoxied. Here's what it looks like if you don't epoxy. Here's a project where we just routered all the graphics into the panels, okay, and didn't fill it. So a different look. All right, so it's your choice. The third project after the cutting board is a lap desk, where you can use one side for your writing surface or holding your book or your computer. You know, it's adjustable in height, right? There's 3 holes in it. You could sit on your favorite couch or even in your bed and be doing this, have this surface for homework. So that's our lap desk. The other side of the lap desk is your graphics, and you could tighten this thing down. It could even be a serving tray for you to eat off of, right? The next project after the plaque, the cutting board, the lap desk, then you've got a mini cedar chest. So we're up in the ante on difficulty, right? You're learning to do raised panels on this project. You can customize the panels as much as you'd like with routering and the epoxy or lasering. Okay, so that's the intro class projects, and then we have the advanced project where I've got a couple prototypes I've made here. It's a nightstand, okay, 2 doors and a drawer. Working on the finger joints of the drawer right now for the second prototype. Okay, so won't that be nice for you students taking the advanced class to build your own nightstand to set in your bedroom, and then put your lamp and your alarm clock, whatever you want, charging station on it. It'll be a great project for us. So how do we get there? Where do we start? Going to start the day with teaching you how to make your personalized plaque. Once again, you have your choice of lasering. It could be a family photo that we download into an app and convert it from a photograph to a pencil drawing, so then it can be burnt. Okay, wasn't the best example of that, but it does work like that. And then routering as well. So how do we get from this you know, out of a board? So you'll be handed a board, you and probably a partner. It could be any length. Our hardwood comes in random widths and lengths. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is calculate the board feet of the board that I give you. So if it's a small board, okay, it doesn't matter if it's small or big, it's the same formula: quantity times thickness times width times length. Okay, and then if that's done in inches, you divide by 144. If it's done in feet, right, 1 dash is a foot mark, then you divide by 12. Okay, if it's in inches, double dash, right, that's the inch symbol, you divide by 144. If it's the last number or the lengths in feet, you divide by 12. So let's take a look at this. Hardwood is sold by the board foot. Okay, what does that mean? Well, these plaques, if they were 12 by 12, that would be 1 board foot, okay? And then another 12 by 12, so there's 2 board feet, and so on and so forth. So how many board feet in this one would you guesstimate? Well, maybe close to 1 board foot, right? If we cut this and put half of it over here, it would be close to 1 board foot. Well, let's check our math. So it was 1, quantity was 1, thickness was 1, width was 4.5 inches, the length in inches was 27. So 1 times 1 times 4.5 times 27 gave us 121.5. We divide it by a 144 because the last number's in inches, right? And we got 0.844 board feet. You always have to give the units, right, for the answer to be correct. You guys that you've all had your math classes, we have to know the unit we're talking about. So I think you'd agree that would be a little less than a 12 by 12 if we cut it in half and put it side by side and measured it. So just under a board foot. How about this one? Same thing, right? We've got quantity times thickness times width times length divided by 144 because it's in inches. So we've got quantity is 1 board, thickness is 1, the width was 6, the length was 22, all right? And we divide by 144. So 6 times 22 divided by 144, we're still under a board foot. See how I'm doing that? All right, let's look at this next board. Okay, I did it in feet. It measured 5 foot long. Okay, so actually I think I did it both ways. If we kept the last number in inches, we divide by 144. If we do the last number in feet, we divide by 12. So it was 4 inches times 5 feet divided by 12. We get a little over 1.5 board feet. Well, same thing, quantity times thickness times width times length. Let's put that in inches. 5 feet is 60 inches, right? So it was 4 foot wide times 60 divided by 144. We get the same answer, 1.67, okay? So you got to remember that last number. Is it in feet or is it in inches? And that lets you know what you divide by, either by 144 or by 12. All right, how about this last board? If this one was a 1.5 board feet, what would you predict this one to be? It's the same length, isn't it? But it's a little wider, so we know it's going to be a little more than 1.67 board feet, don't we? Well, let's go through it. You got your calculators ready? Our formula stays the same, right? Quantity times thickness times width times length. And we have to decide whether that length is going to be in inches or in 1 dash in feet. If it's in inches, divide by 144. If it's in feet, like our previous board, divide by 12. We're going to do this one in inches. So we said 5 foot long was 60 inches, right? So 5 times 60 instead of this one was only 4. And then divided by 144. What'd you get? Did you do it? 1 doesn't change our answer, right? So we just take 5 times 60 divided by 144. What did you get? You should have gotten 300 over 144. And what's your final answer? I get 2.08 board feet. Okay? So before you start a project, when I hand you a board from the wood supply room, you're going to calculate the board feet. Okay? You and your partner. And I say partner because we could get a couple plaques out of those bigger boards. Okay? And most of the boards in there are at least 8 feet long. So you'll calculate the board feet just as shown here. Once I approve that, I want you to lay out your project. Okay? So, for example, You'll do that on the back side because we got this all marked up, don't we? I've done the back side of this board. Your plan that I will give you is, and I should have had one out, sorry about that. For a plaque, our finished size of the plaque is 10 by 10, all right? So you're gonna write that part, that project name or part name, if it has a lot of parts, right? Like the mini cedar chest over there. Some would be named like the top and the bottom and the side panels. Well, we've just got one part for the plaque. So we'll say plaque on the first piece, and then you tell me the size on each, okay? Notice it is 10 by 10, that's the finished size, but my mark is actually at 11 inches, okay? I measured 11 inches. That's rough size, okay? So I'm gonna double check you. You write the finish size of the project part, but you mark it at the rough size. You add an extra inch. Why? Well, because after we glue this up into our panel, we've still got to square it. So we need a little extra room, don't we? So just remember that. I'm gonna have to approve this before you use any machinery. Before you cut your board apart, I want to see how you're utilizing the board. So you can see I've got a few extra inches left over here, too short to make into another plaque, so I just put an X through that. That's the only wasted part. We're also going to work around any board defects. I've got enough room in here to make 2 plaques. It's going to take